I would like to thank Harvey Weinstein.
Like a lion. They look for the weakest one in the pack, don't they? The one without the protection. Because they're
against Donald Trump, a man who believes his fame gives him the right to grab one of your daughters or sisters or mothers or wives by any part of their bodies.
Sexual assault is a huge issue in our society. This has a profound impact on men and women especially. 1 in 2 women and 1 in 5 men experience sexual assault. Women experience unwanted sexual experiences much more than men do.
Statistically, 2/3 of girls experience unwanted sexual attention or contact in public spaces before the age of 21. So, it's not unusual.
Frankly, women have always experienced this. Every woman has her own story. Statistically, 90% of perpetrators of sexual violence against women are men. When men are victims of rape, 93% reported their abuser was male. Many men in powerful positions have abused their power and have been accused of committing sexual crimes. In October 2017, Alyssa Milano sent out a tweet inviting all those who have been sexually harassed or assaulted to comment "Me Too." The phrase took the internet by storm and it unmasked the bigwigs of predatory nature, specifically related to the Hollywood film industry. The Me Too movement supports victims of sexual assault, harassment and abuse. The actress Alyssa Milano stated, "Not only is this a horrible thing that happens in my industry, but it is something that happens in every industry." You've probably heard of Harvey Weinstein. Former film producer, now convicted sex offender, he has been found guilty of charges ranging from sexual harassment to rape. Actresses such as Gwyneth Paltrow, Rose McGowan and Angelina Jolie are among the 50+ women who have come forward with their own stories with Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein got away with this conduct for over 20 years. He was a top Hollywood producer who excelled at every Oscar ceremony. He was untouchable. The women who experienced his attacks felt as though silence was a condition of their employment.
And I had 2 movies. I'd signed up to do 2 movies with him.
Were you afraid that the movies would be canceled, or
I
you would
was
be
afraid.
Yeah,
So
sure.
many blind eyes, and we can't keep making the women to whom this happens responsible. They're the ones who've got to speak. Why?
But the
We've got
difference
to
with the
look and say
nurses-
this is happening.
The former President of the United States, Donald Trump, has been accused of sexual assault and misconduct by 26 women, 7 of which are against children. You would not let a person like this work in a fast food restaurant. How was he given the job of running one of the most powerful countries in the world? Donald Trump has shown his disrespect for women many times through the derogatory comments he has made.
I was sitting with him on an airplane, and he went after me on the plane. Yeah, I'm going to go after. Believe me, she would not be my first choice.
You know about sexual predators and things like that. I mean,
You are one.
All right.
Girls and women have to be especially careful in nightclubs, bars and anywhere late at night. Walking down the street, women are catcalled. Men often say that the women were asking for it because of how they were dressed.
You got a woman walking around looking to get talked to, get somebody to say something. Look what you did, look what you did.
Let me ask you a question. If that was your daughter, how would you feel about men yelling at her?
Walk around, my daughter wouldn't walk around willing to get yelled at. My daughter walk around conservatively dressed.
The sexual assault of men often gets overlooked because of the long-lasting stereotype that men are strong and tough. The Brooklyn Nine-Nine actor Terry Crews has come forward as a survivor of sexual assault. After vocalising his experience, Terry Crews has received backlash and many negative responses from other straight men. He wasn't taken seriously at all. Girls and women are constantly being told to protect themselves and not to wear revealing clothing. We shouldn't have to teach girls how to protect themselves. We should be teaching our sons not to rape.
I apologise for the shame and stigma which they were subjected to, significant failures of the state, the churches and of society.
Ireland was an extremely oppressive and misogynistic culture for women in the 20th century. The Catholic Church were at the pinnacle of Irish society. They held patriarchal and traditional views which permeated through our country. In 1925, a former workhouse in Tuam, County Galway, was converted into a mother and baby home run by an order of Catholic nuns. If women in Ireland became pregnant when they were not married, they would be thrusted into these homes and remain there. They were now hidden from society and robbed of their future. Some of these women weren't even women yet. Some of them were still children. Many of these women and children were victims of rape by a family member and then shunted and disowned by their family once they became pregnant. These women and young girls often gave birth within the homes, then had their babies snatched from them.
My mother, many, many years later. I said, what was it like when you were growing up? She said, John, I didn't have a childhood.
Many children grew up in the homes, in an environment of infectious diseases and malnutrition. For years, survivors have been striving to uncover the truth about the horrific events that occurred within the 18 mother and baby homes. In 2012, historian Catherine Corliss published an article entitled The Home, where she details the staggering number of children who lost their lives within the home between 1925 and 1961, mainly due to various diseases. She questioned why there are no record of where the Tuam babies were buried.
195 children who died, we have their death certs, we have no burial records for them.
In October 2016, the Commission of Investigation found significant quantities of human remains in a large underground structure which was divided into 20 chambers at the site of the former mother and baby home in Tuam. On the 12th of January 2021, publication of the final report of the inquiry into the mother and baby homes is said to be a landmark moment for the Irish state. From 1922 to 1998, when the last institution closed, 9,000 children died in the 18 institutions, about 15% of all the children who lived in the homes.
Babies, and we gifted them, or we sold them, or we trafficked them, or we starved them, or we neglected them, or we denied them, to the point of their disappearance from our hearts and from our sight, from our country, and in the case of Tuam, and possibly other places, from life itself.